Okay, there's one, I guess, glitch with the LMS that I think I should mention here. When I go in as a student and I try to test my quizzes, it doesn't work. So when I click on the quiz, it gives me the information. This is what the student does see. These are the instructions he or she sees. But there should be a button at the bottom that says Submit Quiz, or sorry, Start Quiz, and it doesn't show up when I'm on as myself working as a student. So a little workaround here. I have to switch to my own account to do this. In my class list, I've added in a couple of fake students. Now, I've already used this one, so I can't use him again, but this is kind of the one that I would suggest if you were interested, we could set you up with this student, and you could, if you right click on, or sorry, left click on this down arrow, you can impersonate the student. And that would allow you to then work in his or her account, essentially. I say his or her, of course, it's a fake student, it doesn't really matter. But here I've added my daughter, Caitlin, to the class. I'm going to impersonate her, and what happens then is I'm actually in Caitlin's account now. This is not kind of me seeing what another student would see. This is actually, when I impersonate, I go into her account. So it's not something I want to do with my own students very often, but it is an option. Now, just sort of a couple things I wanted to point out here. If you look at the trigonometry unit here, she's got 3.1, sorry, 3.0, 3.1, and then a quiz. And I'm going to take this quiz as Caitlin. I'll see how I do. Start it. It's a very short quiz. I want to show sort of two things with this. So we're going to say that's worth about 75%, or sorry, 75 degrees. This one will go 5 pi over 4. And this one we'll say is quadrant 4. I'm going to save all my responses. So this is how the student sees the quiz. They go to submit the quiz. It asks them, are you sure? Are you sure? And then this is the feedback that we talked about in the last video. And did I get them all wrong again? Grat. I didn't mean to get them all wrong this time. Oh well. So it shows all the questions that you got incorrect. And Caitlin did very poorly. I'm very disappointed. But the way I have this one set up, she can go back and try it again. And this time hopefully she'll do better. 3/4, that looks more like, oh no, 135. And 240, we're looking at, and quadrant 2. I sure hope this is right, or I'll have to edit the video. Oh, 1 out of 1, 1 out of 1, 1 out of 1. Yay! So this one actually, I guess I apologize. I had it set up to display all the answers, not just the incorrect ones. But what I wanted you to see here was what happens as a result of this quiz. So once she got 3 out of 3 on the quiz, first of all, it marks automatically. But if you notice now, there's an extra lesson down here. And essentially, one of the things we can do is we can tie a lesson to another result, or tie anything really to another result. So until the students get 3 out of 3 on this quiz, which is just a simple little quiz based on the previous lesson, they're not able to move on to the next one. And what this does is it allows me to sort of see when they get to that point, how many attempts it takes obviously for them to get those 3, which should have been fairly simple answers, and then sort of I know when they've proceeded to the next section as well. So just kind of, I just wanted to show first of all how the quiz looked when the students do make the mistakes, and that it shows them essentially which questions they had wrong, but not what the correct answers are. And then the fact that you can tie it to the next lesson or the next topic is kind of neat as well. And basically how that works, I just go into that content as we did before, and under special angles here, how do I do this? Oh, I have to do the bulk edit again. And this gives me just a few more options. I can add the description, get out of there. In this case, I added in some conditions. So here it says add dates and conditions. That wasn't showing up here because I'd already done it, but you basically click on that and the release conditions become whatever is required to do for that thing to show up. And so in this case, obviously, I set the condition is that you must equal 100 or must receive a mark of 100% on the previous quiz. Okay, so just sort of a neat little thing I wanted to make sure that was in there at some point.